Okay, so here's how to do it a little bit yourself, okay? So first take that hand, we're coming across right here. And your other hand is going to be the therapist. It's just pushing down sort of on the back of these knuckles, okay? Okay, and this wrist is sort of staying in its place. So as we load that up just the right amount, sort of find that that's quite strong. You could hold that very rigidly, okay? Now, sort of the load of this pushing down hand, it's constant. We're just slowly allowing that wrist to bend slow, slow. And you're pushing it in the direction it needs to go, not just down, but now you start pushing it toward that elbow. And you're just going really gently, gentle, just till it's soft and relaxed. Okay? So come on up again. Maybe we're going to come up a little past vertical. Yep. And we're just lowering easy. But to really tune into, can your brain perceive the lengthening that's happening? These muscles that control it are in the forearm. So they have to lengthen as that wrist bends. The back of the forearm gets long, coming all the way down just to rest. Okay, so just let that rest here. This time, let's just keep going on that. We're going to come back up to neutral, and this time let's have the hand gently pushing on the back of the fingers. Okay, so it's going to be, we're going to add wrist and fingers are going to be bending. So here we're sort of pushing, maybe not totally on the tips, but just below that first knuckle. And we're just going to start to let the wrist bend. And when we can, we're also going to let those fingers bend under. We're hinging those fingers slow, 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 all the way. Just till that's a nice lengthening all the way down the forearm. Not any discomfort in your wrist. Are we good on the discomfort? Okay. So this time we're going to come all the way on up, and it's like we're trying to pull our fingernails back up to this elbow. We're going to just do the whole long line, last one in this vector. The wrist bends. At a certain point, the fingers begin to hinge. And we're just saying, well, how far away can you get those fingernails that are lowering away, that long line away from that elbow? Just amplify it. And this is the relax. That's the lengthening and all those different layers of muscles, okay? So just now let that arm just rest maybe on your thighs. Yeah. And as that settles down, sort of just tune into the different quality of awareness from one side to the other. Okay. Now let's do a little bit, we're going to do these sort of, for there this plane will say north, we did north, okay? Let's do these other vectors, east and west, this way, this bending of the wrist. So begin to bend your wrist gently, not into discomfort. You're pushing your pinky away from you to bend at the wrist, like you're pulling sort of that line of the pinky back toward that elbow, right? There you go. And if you want to, you can turn it in relationship to gravity, but basically that other hand is the teacher. Yeah, there, yeah, that, I like that. And pull that up. There you go, that. And this hand is pushing away. It's just pushing in the way. That's the amplification. So, I don't know, I'm pushing with like a pound of weight maybe. And we're just letting that open really easy. Can the forearm, can the brain let those muscles lengthen? Mm-hmm. And then one more time, coming on up, find it. You may want to, you could have it, as we bend in that angle, you could add a little bit of the wrist closing, or the back of the hand could come away. You could, let's even have, we're going to come up into this, okay? And we're going to have the back of the hand come toward your face a little bit, there. And now that's the vector. So this oblique angle, and well, okay, can the brain allow that line for the wrist to fold that way? Even let the hand roll over. What if the whole thing rolled and you really had that nice twisting of that? Yeah. We're just coming in. This is how we're gonna finish like that. That's the final, that's the most lengthening. So now we're gonna come all the way, we're rotating out of that. We're pulling back on up. We're bringing the fingertips toward the nose. We're loading that up with the hand. And we're just going to have the back of the wrist and this beautiful rotation. Mm-hmm. There we go. Let that rest for a little bit. Tune in to, just let both hands settle down a little bit. Tune in and sort of notice the difference if there's any quality of one side's more relaxed than the other. Okay. Then here, let's go. Let's think about this. This is very strong in the human body. The bending of the wrist that way. Okay. So this hand could be, yeah, sure. We're going to bend that down any way you can. This hand. Maybe the heel of the hand is going to be giving some amplification to go all the way up like that, slow. And maybe you're pushing on this line right here. Really help the palm, gentle, not a big stretch, just a comfortable lengthening. Okay, we're not forcing it. So we're gonna come all the way down. That hand is pushing down onto this one. Okay, this hand is pushing up, and soon the pushing up hand is sort of winning the tug of war, and we're just going very slowly. That our focused forearm has to lengthen in a nice way, easy. Okay. And this time, as we come down, you could rotate your wrist. See which way the wrist likes to rotate. So we're bending the wrist down, and we'll just load that up any way you can. That hand is pushing away. And well, can you find a slightly different angle to have this really nice opening on the back of the forearm, on the underside of the forearm? Get that. Okay. And let's just do when we're going to come up this way, like right here, where it's like we're like this. We're raising this line of the index finger. We're coming up, and that's the angle, not into discomfort. And now that hand is the therapist again. It's sort of pushing away from the crease of the elbow. It's pushing down and out. Okay, and we say, okay, can you control that speed? Enough push with the therapist hand that it is sort of amplified, that you can feel some tension and really look for, do those places know how to open? So we bend that all the way across. So coming all the way on up, okay? And just open easy, as much load as you want. That's good. And as the next one, let's do it a little differently. We're going to come on up, and we're just going to have like 2 or 3 fingers of pressure. So we're bending, that. Let's have it, that. And you're pushing, what if you have the fingers right here? Yeah, that. Now we're focusing even more on wrist. There we go. And maybe just gentle. Could you, how is it different when it's just a very soft load? Very soft load. Even just, there's mostly the weight of the hand. Can you then understand how to let that line lengthen? Okay. And even here, maybe take your therapist hand and could it wiggle the other hand? Or say, okay, does it go in these directions? Is it soft? Does it offer any resistance? And just for comparison, try switching hands. How is that? Is it as free in all those directions? Are there hidden resistances? It's important to look at the big picture tension patterns. So we're going to do that today. We're going to look at how that turns into big lines, that the hand is sort of an expression of the whole. Tensions in the hand.
So it's a result of the stress patterns.
It's some of the boiling over, like people with tight backs, their system, I was visiting my parents and they stay at a place where there's a lot of other old people. And I shook hands with a woman with really powerful arthritis, and the fingers had like pulled back, like in that, okay? Really pulling back towards that elbow. Well, that's just sort of the expression of that being stuck in the body, this big tension stress reflex. But it could be someone sort of hunched over and they're saying, oh, well, how do I get out of that? Their brain's sort of going to balance the tug of war by unhunching themselves by using their hands. Okay, so yeah, let's go a little bit further. Very important one. Bring that thumb up a little bit, that. And maybe you can even see there's like that tendon right here. It goes across the wrist. Okay. And we're gonna, because as we're scrolling down on the phone, these muscles get super strong that push the thumb down. To keep it but so this muscle here, it's not as big. The muscle that pulls the thumb, that one is constantly having to be on, so we're not stuck in with a texting thumb like that. This has to turn on. So here we're going to bring that thumb up, and notice that line of the tendon. That's the vector. We're pushing this down, not the tip of the thumb, but let's really focus on just this first bone right here. Coming on up. And can the back of the wrist open? It's the back of the wrist. This goes all the way across the wrist. Can that open to let that thumb come further and further and further down? Yeah, that. Okay. So now we're going to come up into it again. If you want, you could bring this point of the thumb out toward that elbow, sort of follow the line. Maybe we'll make it just is wrist, the thumb across the wrist, and we'll add a little bit of the forearm. We have that. Okay. So what does it take for the wrist to unbend and that thumb to come all the way across and really get long? You even have a little bit of rotation in the wrist so that that line gets really long. Yeah, coming through that to that to that. Okay, so here now we have a more complete line up the body. You can even say, well, oh, my elbow goes that. What if I rotate my elbow down, I'm rotating my wrist, and I'm bringing my thumb? So sort of like this would be the full body expression. Yeah, that. Here we're adding our amplification against it. Take the other hand, come around the other way. Yeah, that. Okay. And now we're going to get the whole thing, the twisting, the thumb, the elbow into the shoulder. Let the elbow come up. Elbow comes up. Have that nice long lengthening there. Okay. Okay. And let's just do something for the underside of the thumb. We're thinking, maybe take your thumb and wiggle it a little bit. Okay. And try, that's one vector, but try maybe a diagonal in relationship to that. Which way does it not know how to go? Which way is it really easily moving? And is there any direction where it's not quite knowing how to go? So we want to go north, south, east, west, and then maybe even the diagonals. Or you could just move it around in a circle. Which way does it not know how to come away from? For me, it's a little bit different. I feel like my thumb really likes to be stuck like that. So however it is, whichever way it didn't know how to come away from, that's how you're going to hold it. We're going to load that up, and we're going to slowly let that move slow, till it's really soft. So let's try that one more time. We're bringing that thumb up, and we're letting it go across. Oh, for you, let's say you had this vector of the thumb wants to push in. This time our opposition is going to be trying to pull and open up this sort of line of some of the contraction of the thumb. And we want to be right down on this low knuckle. That, and then come up easy. Yep. Take your time, good, till it's just open. Just one more time, pushing down, push it down against just find which way is it just super strong. So that thumb pushes in. And a couple of fingers are loading to open that up. And we're having that open. Yeah, that. Okay. Maybe let the hand rest now, see where you're at. Okay. We're going to interlock the fingers, and the heels of the hands are touching. And the hands are pulling apart. The fingers are locked together, but the effort is trying to pull like that. So here we're thinking about the two forearms right there. Here we have that. And as they pull against each other, one side begins to win the tug of war. And then the other side begins to win the tug of war. And can you maintain some load and really pay attention to the side that's doing the lengthening? Okay, that's where the brain has to pay attention. Can it understand how to let that lengthen under load? The amplification of load. Maybe you could try a little less load. How would that be? Just a soft opposition. Okay. And then here, let's have hands are just like this. This is the last one. Pushing against that. And then this hand that's bent over, it starts to push, and it's pushing the other one up and over. And pushing the other one up and over. And pushing the other one up and over. Okay. We'll just finish with just this observation. Sort of interlock the fingers, and can you make a circle with the two wrists? Gentle, gentle. Not into discomfort. Just go gentle with this circle. And what if you try the opposite direction? Does that help you see that one wrist is more relaxed than the other? Is one wrist moving better?